So let's talk about the album a little bit, Dilate that just came out. It's a great album, by the way. I'm a big fan of
Thank
it.
you. Thank you.
And I really like I love the EP, and I love the steps that you took since the EP. Was there any would you say there was any particular theme? Like, I noticed somewhat of a common theme between like the noise and Save You. Like, is there any other like common themes running through the album?
Yeah, there's a few unrelated themes, I'd say. Nick knows why I'm laughing. Uh, yeah, so I was definitely going through a lot personally when I was putting together some of those songs. Some of it being with parting ways with the guys who were on the first EP, making my way to Finding Guys, the second EP. Um, so I definitely had a lot of stuff to sort out mentally and personally that and made its way into the songs. Um, some of the stuff is inspiration from some books I was reading at the time. Um, and then a couple of the songs, I was really obsessed with the movie Interstellar. So a couple of the songs are just straight, just me kind of looking at a few parts of that movie under a microscope.
Interesting. So, what about that movie? Like, really like struck your fancy?
I don't know, man. I find that maybe I really take a liking to movies, or just when I go in blind, I end up liking movies best that way. And my wife wanted to put it on. I had never seen it before, didn't know anything about it, and I just fell in love with it. I don't know, maybe it was the mood I was in. Maybe it's that I thought it was gonna be something completely different, but I loved it. And I watched it so many times in the period that we were writing the record, and a lot of parts really captivated me, and I was creating, and so that just ended up being a part of the creative process.
Okay.
And it's funny because James, Nick's roommate who plays bass, he still hasn't seen it, and he refuses to watch it, and it drives me crazy.
I had a friend like that who refused to watch one of my favorite movies, and it did drive me crazy. I snuck it in on him through a YouTube. I was like, "Yeah, watch this clip real quick." It was a YouTube clip of the opening of the movie, and he was like dying, and he was like, "I got to see this movie," and I was like, "No, you don't. You said you never watch it." Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
man, I'm gonna have to tie him down or something. I'll trick him one day.
right, right. So why don't we start out? Tell me a little bit about Halogens, how you guys got started, and how we got from the early point to where we are now.
Who wants to take it?
I'll take
Not
it.
me.
Okay. Basically, so this question we get asked a lot, and we've repeated the same story a bunch of times. So I'm just going to hit highlights and do it.
Okay.
A good synopsis. George, Charlie, and I were good friends in high school. Also, our friend Tim, who was our original bassist. We started playing music together, and it was awesome. And then we kept doing it, and it was awesome. Tim had to go to Rhode Island, which was not awesome. But now Kyle's in the band, so it's awesome again. And that's about it.
Good summary.
Yeah. And that happened over the course of the last 9 years. So
Yeah.
that's the story.
That was a fantastic highlight reel.
No, I hit all the major points. And
yeah.
You might think that I'm leaving stuff out, but I'm really not. That's pretty much it.
All awesome. Except Tim leaving.
Except
then we got Kyle, so now it's awesome again.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I figured you guys been asked that a lot. I literally have this question labeled housekeeping because like normal things that people who might not know about you get it, but I guess I get it. But are there any really odd comparisons that you guys have gotten that have just been like out of left field?
That's a good question.
When people started saying tiny moving parts, I didn't really get it because that was like before. That was
Oh, that I
when
definitely don't get. Yeah.
that was like before they got a little bit more like rock, like poppy oriented, and when they were like really like yelly, like mathy. But then somebody pointed out to me is it's like the sad in the key of happy thing. And like, I guess that kind of made more sense that it's like pretty depressing, like lyrical content, like in a happy sounding way. So like that comparison made a little bit more sense, but they're obviously a way more skilled band than we are. So that was always a little strange.
Yeah, like people compare a lot of my lyrical stylings to like the greats like Pac, Biggie, Big Pun, like that kind of stuff. We get that comparison a lot.
All the time.
Yeah, I totally get that. Absolutely.
Mhm.
I mean, I get compared to them all the time as well.
Yeah, I really just want to start the conversation. I want people to feel a little bit more, okay with not being okay and just working on themselves and being in like not being, at your end goal kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Hope for the Day. I think I heard about them at a Warped Tour.
Yeah, they partner with Warped Tour before, which I thought was really cool because I love Vans. Vans are like, I love Vans.
It's been a while since I've owned like a legit pair of Vans, but like that slip-on thing was just like, the fewer laces, the better. Like I hate tying my shoes. Usually when I tie a pair of shoes, like they're like that until either they're dead or they're untied. Like until they work their way out.
And they're just so comfy. Like after the first 2 weeks, I'm just like, the first 2 weeks are a little rough, right? I gotta like wear long socks and whatever. But then after that, they're like slippers. I just love Vans. I have like 5 or 6 pairs. It's a lot, probably too much, but
I'm very impressed with the record, and I think that I saw the what is the lyric breakdown that you did on Beyond the Crowd for all the crowded rooms.
Oh no!
When you said, but like when you guys said like goalkeeper teaching people how to break up, like that actually hit. Yeah, I'm like, that's and then I like I was listening to like all your old stuff too, and I was just like, that's really what they're doing is teaching people how to break up. This is great. It's like you're doing the world of public service with your lyrics.
It's so funny. It's so funny you mentioned that lyric video, dude. There's a segment that I guess it's gonna come out a little later, and I'll just talk about it. But like they had this segment, I forget what it was called, but essentially they asked us some funny questions. But before you had the funny question, you had to find it underneath the shot. So you had to take the shot first and then read a question under it. And there was probably about like 9 shots for Ryan and I to split. And by the time we started that interview or the lyric breakdown, my mind was like working at probably 35%.
So behind the scenes, this was a drunk history goalkeeper style.
Yeah, basically that's how it got to it. Yeah, and like my mind was working like, so they were like, explain the lyrics and just kind of talk about them. Like the camera came on, I'm thinking to myself, fuck, these lyrics mean exactly what I'm saying. But like, how do I say the definition of this lyric without just reciting the lyric?
Right.
So I just like end up stumbling through whatever it was. I've watched that video like maybe once out of just like pure like embarrassment to get through it. But it's funny. It's awesome, man. Those guys are awesome. To all the crowded rooms, such cool people. Loved having the conversation with them. Don't remember half of it, but you know what? It was a fun time.
You know what? Little secret confession. After I listened to my podcast, like just to make sure that everything is good and like I put it out there, I usually don't listen to it again because I'm just like, I don't want to hear my voice anymore.
Right? I think that's something everyone agrees with. No one likes to hear their voice in recording. I don't know why.
Someone was actually telling me it's like kind of a scientific thing because because the voice that we hear in our head is different because it's like the resonance or whatever is different than the voice that everybody else hears. So then like we hear the voice that everybody else hears and we're like, that's not. I sound like that. Like that's terrible.
Yeah, it's like, ew, I sound like a McChicken being put through like a blender. This is disgusting. I don't know why my voice sounds like this.
Right, right. It's like, is my voice
Yeah.
really that high? Because it doesn't sound that high in my head.
yeah. It's probably like the difference between what you hear and like what I hear in my head is probably like one notch off. So it's like, why does my voice sound so irritating?
Right.
But yeah, I think everyone gets like that.
I know, like, so some of my favorite bands, actually, one's from your area, like Bayside, like they do that. Like their songs sound really upbeat, but their lyrics are like, wow, this dude's been through some shit, like And like Alkaline
Yeah.
Trio does like the same thing, a lot of dark lyrics, but a lot of like upbeat, like pop and like pop punk influences. It's actually kind of my favorite melding of things,
Well, that's cool. I don't know the Bayside guys personally, but I know that they're like, I have some those guys are like a generation older than me. Those guys are like 10 years older than me, but I know a lot of the people like involved in that whole thing. Like my buddy Sal was in this band called The Sleeping, and then like there's a band called you probably heard of Glassjaw.
Yeah. Dude,
Yeah,
I love The Sleeping too, to be honest with you. Yeah, I'm a big fan of
Sal's
that.
a good dude. Sal's a good buddy of mine. Then there's then there's Glassjaw, of course. Then there's like Brand New and all that shit. But I didn't know any of those Brand New guys. I know Daryl. I know Daryl. Actually, our guitar player Jimmy, he was in a band called Edison Glass. They were pretty
What?
big. And you know Edison Glass?
I love Edison Glass. I am such a big fan of Edison Glass.
Yeah, our Gambler's guitar player is the guitar player of Edison Glass.
Dude, that's so dope. Wow. That just blew my mind. Wow. That's crazy. I love that band so much.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
I still
cool,
play.
man.
I still like jam out to their albums to this day.
I will have to tell him that.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah, definitely.
it's funny how like it's funny how, no pun intended, it is a small world, like the music community.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, like wow, like that's like all of those bands that you were naming, like that's why I said like I come from that background, like Brand New is like my favorite band. Like Deja Entendu came out when I was a freshman in college. So it's like, and now I'm 35, so it's like I kind of came of age with a lot of those bands, like my early time doing college radio. Like we played a lot of that stuff, and it's just kind of like that's kind of the era that I'm stuck in a lot of ways.
Yeah. And honestly, it's like a lot of people who don't listen to pop punk or punk rock are missing out. So check it out if you haven't listened to a lot of bands like that. Like, come on.
And listen to Bayside.
Oh, yeah.
Listen to Bayside. Yeah, if you're gonna start your pop
Devotion and Desire.
Yes.
There you go. That's my song, man.
Awesome.
Dude, that video was crazy. Like it made me think that they were like in the vein of AFI for a while, but I was like, then I heard the rest of their stuff. I'm like, not quite.
Dude. And you just said AFI.
Yeah.
We could make out right now, and I would be fine with that. Like, I'm a huge AFI fan. You have no idea what you did to my
I was
emotions.
listening to him yesterday, actually.
I'm looking at your lips. I'm looking at your lips real
I
hard.
said full lips. Do you guys?
Right
Thanks so
on,
much,
man. Love you,
Dwayne.
dude.
And, keep rocking in Philly, and hopefully we can make it out there someday. And